के साथ जा रहे हैं, इन लोगों को असम की पुलिस लेकर जा रही है।
Hours before crucial meet, Congress hits turbulence. Pawan Khera arrested and released.
बिना एफआईआर की कॉपी दिए, बिना मुझे कोई नोटिस दिए, हवाई जहाज से उतारकर इस तरह से गैरकानूनी रूप से मुझे गिरफ्तार किया गया असम पुलिस द्वारा।
Congress gets set for 2024 battle. Can Congress lead alliance against Modi?
In 2024, the alliance government will come in center. Congress will lead.
Ally Cong, asset or liability?
Hours before the Congress plenary in Chhattisgarh, the party hit turbulence with its senior leader Pawan Khera being arrested. There was much drama all through the day at the tarmac as Pawan Khera was arrested as he was on a flight to Raipur. The flight ultimately had to be cancelled because Congress leaders started protesting. This created a big showdown just before the party grandees get together in the capital of Chhattisgarh to brainstorm on the opposition's road ahead of 2024.
Turbulence before taking off. Congress spokesman Pawan Khera offloaded from a Raipur-bound flight in Delhi, taken into custody. His party colleagues stage a sit-in on the tarmac.
अभी देखते हैं, ये लंबी लड़ाई है, लड़ने को तैयार है। जब नरसिम्हा राव जी जेपीसी।
The drama unfolded a day before the Congress party's key plenary starting Friday in Chhattisgarh, and in the wake of Khera missaying PM Narendra Modi's name.
नरेंद्र गौतम दास, सॉरी दामोदर दास मोदी को क्या प्रॉब्लम? गौतम दास है दामोदर दास, सॉरी।
The Congress leader apologized later, but that did not settle the issue. Police in Assam registered a case against him on a complaint filed by a local social worker. His party moved the Supreme Court, which ordered Khera be released on interim bail and that all FIRs against him in connection with the case be clubbed together. The opposition party, however, termed the police action dictatorial.
ये वही असम की पुलिस है जब निहत्थों पर वार होता है तो चुप रहती है। मैं पूछना चाहती हूँ इन्होंने कौन सा ऐसा जुर्म किया है कि इनको यहाँ पर डिटेन किया जा रहा है और असम की पुलिस हरकत में आ रही है। ये तानाशाही नहीं तो और क्या है?
The incident comes in the middle of Congress asserting its preeminence in national politics.
सभी मिलके काम करेंगे। जरूर 2024 में कांग्रेस और दूसरे हमारे दोस्त पार्टियां मिलके जरूर सरकार बनाएंगे।
Pressure has mounted on the party to take pragmatic steps towards cobbling together a Mahagathbandhan for the 2024 Lok Sabha elections.
हम कह दिए हैं कि भाई सोच लीजिए आगे, जो कहिएगा। अब बाकी अन्य पार्टियों का फोन आ रहा है और सब लोग कह रहे हैं कि बाकी लोगों का सबका मीटिंग कीजिए, एक साथ बैठिए, तब जान लीजिए हम वेट कर रहे हैं खाली।
Devising an agenda for state and national elections on the Congress plate for its two-day plenary in Raipur. For now, though, the party still does not see eye to eye with several regional satraps within the anti-Modi camp.
So you're aware of their tradition. They came to Goa, spent huge amounts of money in Goa, and the idea was to help the BJP. And this is exactly the idea in Meghalaya.
Rough surfaces and a long drag in the Congress motion to position itself as the fulcrum of a yet elusive grand opposition alliance. Bureau Report, India Today.
When it comes to that big question of Modi versus what and who in the big battle of 2024, there are two lines of thinking. One is the Nitish Kumar line of thinking, which suggests that there must be one mega opposition alliance. On the other side, you've got Rahul Gandhi and the current Congress, which seems to believe that let there be tactical state-wise alliances in states where alliances are possible, that it isn't feasible to have one pan-India opposition alliance. Which of those two poses the greater threat to the BJP government, if at all? To talk about this in the context of the plenary session of the Congress party in Raipur, I'm joined on this broadcast by Yogendra Yadav, founding member of the Swaraj Abhiyan and the Jan Kisan Andolan. We've got Sanjay Jha, who's been in the Congress, author, columnist, political analyst. Swati Chaturvedi joins us, well-known columnist. Aishwarya Mahadev joins us for a perspective from the official Congress. So let's go across to Yogendra Yadav first. You've written a piece, I was reading that, about what and where is the opposition. Do you think that the Nitish Kumar line of thinking, that the opposition parties must at least try to build as big a rainbow alliance against the Modi government as is possible, is worth pushing? Or do you see greater merit in the Rahul Gandhi line of thinking, which seems to suggest that let there be tactical state-wise alliances in whichever state this is possible? Yogendra Yadav.
Rahul, I didn't know that there was a Nitish line and there was a Rahul line. I've learned it on your show. But I've been saying something for the last 5 years, and you can check, I've written again and again on this question. And I wrote, I think, something 2 years ago again on this line to say that Mahagathbandhan of the opposition is actually, psephologically speaking, electorally speaking, tactically speaking, not a very useful idea. And I had written purely as an analyst, not as a actor in this whole game. Yes, you need a political unity of the opposition. Yes, you need a signal in the country that the opposition speaks a similar line. What you do not need is one stage on which the entire opposition comes, stands and says, we are united. My sense was and continues to be that kind of a single stage unity would actually end up supporting Mr. Modi, because if you remember, and that's something I've quoted again and again, in 1971, the opposition had the largest possible coalition against Mrs. Indira Gandhi. And all she had to do was to say, ye kehte hain Indira hatao, main kehti hu garibi hatao. The opposition was demolished. So I think this can only contribute to a sense of victimhood that Mr. Modi loves to play with. Yes, you need specific coalitions, and most of those coalitions are in place. Swati ji is here, and I would very much underline the fact that in Maharashtra, the coalition which is badly needed is already in place, MVA. In Tamil Nadu, you need a coalition that's already in place. There are places where opposition alliance could be in Bihar. It was needed, it has come into play. In Jharkhand, it was needed, it is already in place. Do you need an additional overarching unity of opposition? I don't see very many places, and I would like to learn where opposition unity would contribute. If you want, for example, look at Bengal. Would it help if Mamata Banerjee were to come together with Congress and left in order to fight the BJP? No, I think it would actually serve the BJP's interest if that were to happen. So we should, if we look at the overall situation of India, what would help most is not for opposition to come together in a mega alliance. What would help is that whichever party is the leading opposition party in a position to really take on the BJP in that particular state, that party should be strengthened. That would help the cause of defeating the hegemony of the BJP. We are facing an unprecedented situation of a party which is out to dismantle this republic. Every effort should be put in to combat this hegemony, but we should do it in a way which is intelligent, that does not help Mr.
Let's hear what Swati Chaturvedi has to say. You're making the argument that a pan-India opposition alliance actually benefits the BJP government will make it Modi versus all, and the Prime Minister and the BJP would love that. Nitish Kumar Swati seems to argue that there is merit in having some concrete effort to bring opposition forces together. They can bring their resources together, they can bring their minds together, they can tactically and strategically take on the BJP government. Which of the two arguments do you think carries more weight?
Well, Rahul, first of all, what Nitish Kumar said was day before yesterday. Yesterday, we had the unedifying spectacle of Rahul Gandhi attacking TMC as the BJP's B team and the TMC giving it back, saying that they were not. So, when all these things happen, the Congress has, Kharge has also said that, they will lead an alliance. Now, the point is that will anybody accept that? Because, the Congress has certain unentitled ambitions. They have 20% of the vote as of the last election. But at the moment, Rahul Gandhi has certainly rebooted his personal image, but will the other leaders allow the Congress to lead this? And if they keep having this sort of tutu meme all the time, it'll look like a khichdi to the voters. Now, on one side you have a near presidential party where everything from 1 to 100 is Narendra Damodar Das Modi. And on the other hand, you have a question mark. So it's like when you're ill, you have khichdi, but when you want to eat something very good, you want biryani. So that's the choice facing the voters.
Sanjay Jha, the Congress has unwarranted ambitions, or so Swati argues, that you've got a situation where implicit in what the Congress is saying is that we will be at the center of the opposition fight against the BJP. Many in the opposition seem to think the Congress thinks too highly of itself. What's left is essentially just a rump.
Rahul, politics is the art of the possible. And if you look at what the Congress has been articulating, I was glad to hear Mr. Kharge take a very, optimistic or a very sanguine position on what can happen in 2024. It is born out of a mathematical reality. One is that most of the other, regional parties, some of them having a national ambition, and they have every fundamental right to have one, they are still at the end of the day regional satraps. They don't have an influence beyond maybe one state or maybe 2 or 3 states. So the Congress is the default national alternative to the BJP. Now, the critical element here is this, and I agree with both Yogendra and Swati here partially, because the Congress will have to be the linchpin or the fulcrum of an opposition fight back. Now, the critical thing here is this. The Congress needs to realize this, and they need to do that without wasting any further time, that the seats that it fights against the BJP is what will determine whether Mr. Modi comes back to power or doesn't.
And that's been the weakest link of the opposition. Wherever the Congress is directly in fight with the BJP has almost like a 90% strike rate against them. So the Congress is the weakest link, and you can't have a situation where the leader of your alliance is actually your weakest link.
Absolutely. And Rahul, that is the point I wish to make. If you look at the actual opposition opportunity, it is that if the Congress were to get 110, it means the BJP will not be able to form the government on its own. Probably not at all. I'll tell you why. If you look at the historical trend from the 2004 right down to 2019 elections, you will find that the vote share of the Congress and the BJP, even in terms of Lok Sabha seats, is not out of a certain range. So it is basically a zero-sum game. If the Congress gets 60 seats, the BJP is likely to lose around 50-odd seats. So if the Congress focuses on those low-hanging fruits and lets the regional players who are dominant players get a bigger share of the pie in the Lok Sabha, it has an opportunity to really stop Mr. Modi in 2024 itself. And the deal really can be that the Congress should say that give me opportunity in the Lok Sabha where I have a chance, and maybe I will give you a bigger stake in the assembly elections. So the question is of trust. If the Congress
but there is no trust. Yogendra Yadav, no, the problem with the argument that Sanjay Jha is making is that there is no trust. It's each party, each leader for himself. They'll all try and eke out the best bargain they can for their own parties and for their own selves. There is therefore no one opposition idea. It's each one for himself.
Rahul, that's only natural. They are in different parties. They have their natural ambitions. They have natural different trajectories, and we should not be surprised. To my mind, all this talk is very, very premature. honestly, I really don't see the point. If Mr. Nitish Kumar has to make a suggestion, I don't see why that is being made in public. If he has to be responded to, I don't see why it is being responded to in public. To my mind, and thank God, opposition unity and who is going to lead the opposition unity, etc., will not be decided in television studios, will not be decided in press conference, cannot be decided in the next 6 months in any case. It will all depend on how the numbers fall. And to my mind, in all probability, this will not be decided even before the 2024 elections begin. It really depends on how the pins fall. And as Sanjay Jha says, if Congress crosses 100, there is no debate about who would lead opposition unity. And if Congress remains at 50, then there is no debate about an opposition government because there would be none. So I think all this is a rather premature discussion taking place. Yes, I do think that a lot of maturity is called for right now. All everyone needs to do is just to hold their horses for the time being, acknowledge the fact that everyone is playing their own role. No one may be a B team. They are playing their own role. Fortunately, the political geography of this country is such that Mamata Banerjee is doing what she needs to do in Bengal. Mr. Stalin is doing what he needs to do in Tamil Nadu. Different people are doing their own bits. Shiv Sena is doing what it needs to do in Maharashtra. And therefore, it would be the most important task as of today is not opposition unity, nor is it about settling who is going to lead a possible coalition. ये तो सब वो जो बिरबल की खिचड़ी है जो वो वाले मामले हैं. What is required right now is actually strengthening forces of opposition on the ground. What is required today, if you ask me, is one single movement unity. And if you allow me to propose that, it is this. If the entire opposition of this country in their own states, with or without coordination, were to launch a national movement against Adani, actually they should call it Modani. If there is a national movement against Modani model that is being imposed on this country, there is no need for Gathbandhan, there is no need for seat talks, there is no need for settling who would lead the coalition. Just do it on the ground, and within the next few weeks and months, everything would settle.
Okay, so you got an idea there, which you're putting out. In fact, let me ask you this question, Yashwantji. I've been hearing a lot of buzz recently about you potentially joining the Congress. Isme kuch dam hai kya? Is the political analyst, one-time cephalogist, now thinking about batting for the Congress?
Lag to raha hai.
Is that to me?
Lag to raha hai. And he also wanted the Congress to die at one point.
Yogendra ji, are you planning to join the Congress? काफी चर्चा हो रही है दिल्ली में.
मैं तो भैया दिल्ली में बैठा हूँ, मैं तो रायपुर में नहीं हूँ. वो कांग्रेस वाले तो वहाँ हैं. You see what happens is this, that because I support.
But he wanted the Congress to die also at one point, Rahul, if you remember.
Let him speak.
I would send you a copy, Swati ji, if you read the article. In fact, the article says what I'm going to repeat now. Number one, that this country is under unprecedented assault on its constitution. Number two, Congress, as the largest party with the biggest footprint, has the first responsibility in this country to take on the assault of the BJP. And then it says, because Congress failed to do that in 2019, I don't see what it is doing. I would repeat the first 2 points once again. And if the Congress is willing to do it today, I would have no qualms about what it did in 2019. Anyone who's today trying to prevent my house from catching fire, that person is a friend. Shiv Sena, I've had deep reservations about its ideology, about many of its practices, which I have very, very strongly reacted to. But if today Shiv Sena is fighting the BJP, I would happily shake hands with you. Normally, I'm very happy in any case. But even with Shiv Sena, I would say, all right, anyone who today fights this menace that this country faces, let us come together.
Aishwarya Mahadev, I'm sure you've heard the buzz as well about Yogendra Yadav potentially joining the Congress. Is YY welcome in the Punjab?
Good evening, Rahul. I think first and foremost, anybody that believes that this country is under unprecedented assault on all its democratic institutions, the way of life, and we've pretty much sold out a lot of what we have to certain oligopolies or monopolies per se. I believe all of us are on the same side of the spectrum. And if Mr. Yadav would like to, I'm sure that the leadership is more than happy to have a like-minded individual on that front, to be very honest, Rahul.
There's a bit of bonhomie happening over there, but I want to come to what Nitish Kumar is saying, which Aishwarya Mahadev is that let opposition parties come together. He believes that's the model to challenge the BJP government. Rahul Gandhi and the Congress don't seem to agree with your ally in Bihar, who's suggesting that the opposition parties come together. Why are you so opposed to what Nitish is suggesting?
You know, Rahul, when it comes to coalitions, we've had pre-poll, during poll, post-poll. There have been a lot of experiments of coalitions, of opposition and whatnot. The one thing that all of us know is there's an inevitability of having opposition unity if you want to take on 2024. The modalities of it, however, is something that needs to be undertaken or looked into, because as Swati and as Yogendraji spoke about, a lot of regional parties are direct in competition with the Congress. In a lot of places, a coalition previously may cause a harm. For example, in 2019 Karnataka, you saw that the coalition took us from 17 MPs to 1. And there are various different things. The larger, I think the details of it is something that we can all iron out, Rahul. But the fact of the matter is, and Kharge Saab put it out very firmly and succinctly, is that all of us need to realize the inevitability is to have opposition on a plank, whether it is various different planks that help you, whether it is one united plank, but also just by mere sheer national presence, because a lot of regional parties have not had success outside. The Congress is, let's say, in the front runners post to be helping lead.
Okay, but Sushmita Dev and the TMC now don't seem to agree, because Abhishek Banerjee of the Trinamool Congress attacking Rahul Gandhi and the Congress very clearly, saying that the Congress is a weakened force and is in no position to lead the opposition. Yogendra Yadav says, Sushmita, that unless the Congress is somewhere in the mix and unless the Congress itself crosses 100, there is no question of there being any kind of an opposition government. So the centrality of the Congress is inevitable to any opposition attempt to take on the BJP. Sushmita.
See, there are two aspects to this. I cannot disagree with Yogendraji when he says that Congress has a footprint across the country. But I think what they need to take is a strategic decision, that where is it that their footprint matters and where is it that their footprint is of no consequence. For instance, in UP, they were at 2.33%. In Bengal, they got 0 seats. In Bihar, I mean, the jury is out there. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. So, but if you look at states like Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Congress matters there because they're in a direct fight with the BJP and no other force or no other party can take them on. But UP, Andhra, Telangana, Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, those are the footprints which stand in the way of other parties coming in to fight the BJP. So it is a decision. If Congress wants to be at the center and wants to take the lead, then they have to think in a very strategic way how to position themselves. They can't say because we have a footprint everywhere in the country, we are not going to give anybody leeway. I mean, why fight 92 seats in a Bengal Assembly election where you draw 0?
Okay, let Sushmita's made an important argument. Let Aishwarya Mahadev respond to it, that where the Congress has little chance of winning, take a Bengal, take a Uttar Pradesh, take a Telangana, take an Andhra Pradesh, they should simply pull back and let the party which is most likely to take on the BJP fight, rather than go poke their nose in a battle where they have no chance of winning.
You know, Rahul, in the same way, I think the Congress did it, whether it's 2019 in my own state, where we did give up seats to our coalition partner. And I can ask Sushmita the same in converse, that exercises in Goa and Tripura may also have hampered certain political parties as well. I think political ambitions aside, this is a battle for survival of all the opposition parties, because if you look at ED raids, the manner in which they act against different political parties, I think all of us need to move past our ambitions of expansionism and look at where we can best fight. Completely agree with what she says, and I believe the converse applies to her party as well, Rahul.
Okay, let's go across now to Yashwant Deshmukh, because you've heard what Yogendra Yadav started this debate by saying, that it is better to have tactical alliances in states rather than one strategic overarching national opposition Gadbandhan, because that could potentially help the BJP, help Prime Minister Modi rather than hurt him. Do you agree with that assessment?
Well, Rahul, who wouldn't agree with Yogendraji when the psephologist inside him starts speaking? The problem happens only when the politician inside him starts speaking on that side.
अब आप तारीफ कर रहे हैं कि क्रिटिसाइज कर रहे हैं, ये बता दो पहले आप. You are criticizing him and appreciating him in the same breath.
No, I totally agree with him on couple of points. That number one, I have been always saying that there cannot be any opposition challenge without the Congress, and also there cannot be any challenge by the Congress without the Gandhis, particularly Rahul Gandhi at this point of time. That I am very clear. I have been saying that. Besides that, I think the clear problem with the opposition thing is Congress's own status, state and performance at large. Because Rahul, pick up any state in India and pick up 2014 and 2019. Who has won the last Lok Sabha elections in 2019 in Tamil Nadu? Or for example, in Bengal, or in Odisha, or in Telangana, or in Kerala. The problem is not that these anti-BJP parties are not winning. They are winning. They have got a great strength inside the parliament. But why Congress is critical? Because even with 100% performance of Mamata Banerjee winning 42 out of 42 in West Bengal, the number is still lower than the worst possible tally of the Congress which you are watching today. So obviously, Congress is pretty much in the center. But larger than looking at the points of how to go about opposition alliance, how to think about who is going to be the prime face, I think the clear and present danger for the Congress right now is how to ensure that they survive in the states where they are in direct fight with the BJP. And those signals are distressing. I know Karnataka is coming, and our survey in MOTN has clearly said that Congress looks like having a very clear upper hand over there. But when you look into states like Gujarat, when you look into states like Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, I'm not even talking about Uttar Pradesh where Congress has become a big zero, or Bihar where it is next to big zero. I'm not talking about that. Clearly the states where there is the Congress versus BJP direct fight. The Congress has to put its act together if they want to survive and if they want.
No, but that you make an important point, Annette. Aishwarya Mahadev respond to it. You haven't done enough in states where you actually have a chance. Forget about going to West Bengal. Forget about going to a state like Telangana where you are now much weaker, where you still have some kind of a chance. You aren't doing anything to strengthen you. So Congress should stop dreaming about trying to take on the BJP pan-India, where you have a direct chance. You aren't doing enough on the ground.
Rahul, I completely disagree with that. Whether it is in Andhra and Telangana, the fact that the cadre exists, even with the way that the regional parties have bulldozed the national parties there, including the Congress, I think we still exist. I think in Karnataka, everybody had written us off until my PCC president, DK Shivkumar, came into the fore and has basically put us back into pole position to forming government. And I do not think you can take away from the fact that the Congress, especially with the Bharat Jodo and especially with the response that we've gotten from people on the ground, at this point, you really cannot write off. And
no, but let me put that question to Yogendra. I'm not sure. Now, I don't know whether he'll speak with his political hat or his analyst hat, but this is an important point. The Congress, as we just heard from Aishwarya Mahadev, thinks that the Bharat Jodo Yatra is some kind of a game changer. Lots of people came out and this is a new Congress. I am not certain, and I'll tell you why, sir. Because while people did come out and there was energy in that Yatra, there isn't enough organizationally done on the ground to ensure that the Congress has the kind of structure that the BJP has been able to build at the district level, at the Panna Pramukh level, where you actually have now a presence. You have boots on the ground. The Congress doesn't have. They had boots in that Yatra for sure, but they don't have boots in the ground in every village.
Rahul, first thing, with or without Bharat Jodo Yatra, Congress is and was a party with the largest possible footprint in this country. This was the reality in 2019, did not change in 2023. So that's one. Number two, Bharat Jodo Yatra undoubtedly has been a historic success. And all that you need to do is to look at BJP's own reactions to that. You would get to see that. It has transformed Rahul Gandhi's own personal image, which in today's person-centric politics is a critical factor. It has certainly energized Congress cadre. Has it transformed Congress as an organization? We don't know. Will it certainly lead to electoral victories for the Congress? Too early to say anything of that kind. It all depends on the follow-up work. And that is why I'm saying, Rahul, that the focus should shift away from the business of opposition unity to the business of strengthening opposition parties wherever they are strong. And as every speaker in this panel has highlighted, electoral geography of this country is such that different parties are strong in different areas. There are 3 or 4 states where there's a serious overlap, otherwise they are different. And all that is required is right now for the next 6 months, 8 months, almost for the next 1 year, to focus on their respective areas of strength and to strengthen them further. That is what is required.
So Sushmita,
as for the business of leadership,
yes.
Just one last word on the business of leadership. If I think I'm the preeminent leader, I would normally wait for everyone else to say that. I should normally not have to say that myself. Or maybe it's an old-fashioned understanding of my own.
Sushmita, there was an argument that Aishwarya Mahadev made about you saying that the Congress should not come into states where it is weak. The same argument flung against you in the case of Goa, for example. We don't know what's happening in the northeast, so we'll hold that back for a moment. Meghalaya and Tripura results are still awaited. But in Goa, you went in, spent so much money. You were involved. I met you in Panjim. You came up a cropper. So that same argument comes back to you. Don't go where you're not strong. You're hurting the opposition cause too.
Okay, Rahul, let me tell you this. Trinamool Congress hasn't gone to a single state where there's a non-BJP government. Trinamool Congress has gone to Goa, Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, where Congress is repeatedly losing and there's a need for a representative, for an alternative. And can I add what happened in Goa? After going to a church, masjid and taking a pledge and signing affidavits, 8 of the Congress MLAs en masse shifted to the BJP, which is a larger threat to the democracy. Today, what do you do in those 186 seats in which Congress is in a direct fight with the BJP and is losing 175? If this phenomena keeps repeating, what will happen? The BJP will keep coming back to power. So somebody has to try and be the alternative. That was the logic behind Goa. We did not go to defeat the Congress. We went to a state where Congress is unable to win. Tripura, same situation. Meghalaya, same situation. Assam, same situation. So we have no problem. I wish the Congress well. I hope they win Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Himachal again and again when they're in a straight fight. But in states where they're repeatedly losing, maybe for the mistakes of their state leaders, like in my own state, Assam, people want an alternative. So there's a larger picture. There's a larger picture there. So to say in a democracy, you can't go to this stage, you're cutting our votes. If you have a survival plan, if you have a revival plan, a part of that plan can be nobody else can come in our way. Please give us a red carpet so we can easily walk our way into victory. No, it doesn't work
now, Swati Chaturvedi, what do you think will happen at the Raipur plenary? This is supposed to be the big plenary after the big Bharat Jodo Yatra. Does the Congress, from what you know so far, have a plan? Or will this be a lot of talk which doesn't really amount to much organizational strengthening on the ground?
Well, first of all, Rahul, there will be, pain sung to Rahul Gandhi and his yatra. What's important, the point also very important for the Congress is that the Congress, cannot afford to be seen as a fringe party. Like Yogendra Yadav suggested something about Modani. Now, how much the Adani issue has resonance with, the people, the voters on a daily basis, I don't know. So what's also happening is the issues the Congress is taking up with Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi is sort of now the ideologue of the party. We don't know if he's the PM candidate, but he's also answered that question saying, I would do this or whatever. But the point is, how much would say the Adani issue have resonance with the public? When you try and explain cronyism to the public, they get fascinated by a mandir. So the Congress's issue, from a very, very mainstream party, which actually had a lot of stake in, people's issues, we have a Congress now which keeps taking up very fringe causes. And you have a leader, one leader who's Kharge, who, all he does is listen to what Rahul Gandhi says, and then, it's a, right now the Congress is a complete flux. They have to decide what their big issues are going to be, and what exactly are the roles for the Gandhi family and the Congress president.
Okay, no, so let Yogendra Yadav respond to this. The idea of cronyism may not be a very popular vote-getting idea. The Congress did try this earlier. Rahul Gandhi putting the charge of Chaukitar Chor hai on the issue of the purchase of the Rafale fighter jets. It bombed. It didn't do well. So what you were pitching Modani. Swati has questions about whether Modani will work.
Fair question. Let me clarify. This is not necessarily Congress's plank. I don't know what Congress's plank will be in Raipur. With that, we would discover. It was my suggestion. I do think, Swati, this is not a fringe issue. Believe me, we are at another Bofors moment. Do remember, in this country, one election was decided just on Bofors, and Bofors was peanuts compared to the Adani issue. Here is an issue that exposes where there is a direct linkage to the Prime Minister. We are dealing with a situation where someone who's known to be, not just one or two tiny photographs, someone who's known to be a closest aide of the Prime Minister is involved, faces serious accusations, not just locally, but internationally. We are looking at one of the biggest international scandals. We are looking at a situation where lakhs and lakhs of shareholders of this country are involved, and more than those lakhs of shareholders, possibly crores of shareholders in LIC and those involved in State Bank of India are involved. So if the opposition has creativity, has innovation, has imagination, we are looking at one of the biggest political scandals of independent India. If that is a fringe issue, then I'm afraid opposition might live.
Swati, you want to respond to that? Ultimately, Bofors also became an issue because they kept driving it home.
Also, VP Singh, remember, VP Singh was a mesmerizing figure. The opposition coalesced around him. The opposition index of unity cannot be because of ED raids, right, or CBI raids. There has to be a bigger reason uniting the opposition. How many opposition leaders? Yes, Rahul Gandhi has been raising Mr. Adani's, shenanigans quite frequently. But have we had any other opposition speak on Mr. Adani? And look at the media. How much of the media coverage in India is of Mr. Adani? All of the stuff is happening in the foreign press. So how does the Indian voter get enthused about something where he A, can't read it, B, can't see it on television, and there's no leader except Rahul Gandhi, talking about it, because most of those people are also doing deals with Mr. Adani.
Okay, Sanjay Jha, before I conclude, what are you expecting will emerge out of that plenary session in Raipur? Do you think this will be significant from a Congress perspective, or do you think it's more of a talk shop without any substantial, significant, tangible outcome?
Rahul, two points. Number one, if the opposition were to lose 2024, let's not try and pussyfoot around, let's bite the bullet. It is an existential crisis for the Congress and all the other regional parties as well. Mr. Modi has sent out a clear message through the way they have abused the investigating agencies, not just the Congress at the national level, but I can tell you even the TMC, the Samajwadi Party, the Shiv Sena, everyone will be systematically destroyed if Mr. Modi were to come back or the BJP were to come back in 24. Point number two, and I hope all of them recognize that hard truth. The second point which Yogendra has mentioned, I completely agree with him. Let me tell you something. The truth is, that is exactly the point. The issue of Mr. Adani is now being called by Larry Summers as the Enron moment. And we know that after Enron, what happened to Arthur Anderson? This is perhaps we are staring at a huge malfeasance, corporate malfeasance with political collusion. And that is the point that Swati probably needs to understand. What Yogendra is saying is so true. If all opposition parties were to take this unitedly and take it across the country, you have a significant outlier moment that can actually change the complete dynamics of politics in the weeks ahead.
Okay, you've heard different points of view. As always on the Newstrack, I don't tell you what to think. But you got some shades of opinion on what the opposition could be doing or should be doing if they hope to take on the BJP and the Prime Minister. Whether that will in the end amount to a substantial challenge or not is something that we will track very carefully in the months to come. Thank you for joining me. We'll have more for you when we come back on the other side of a very quick break. You're watching the Newstrack.
Over 3 decades, Business Today has delivered news, views and analysis like no other, chronicling India Inc.'s journey through time. Now, at 31 years, Business Today presents the future. Mission 2047, Road to India at 100, with Indian industry's biggest stalwarts and an exclusive interview with Google CEO Sundar Pichai.
सोल्जर ये नहीं पूछता देश ने उसके लिए क्या किया, पूछता है वो देश के लिए क्या कर सकता है.
Shah Rukh Khan has yet again rewritten box office records with Pathaan. The spy thriller from the Yash Raj basket breached the 1,000 crore mark on Tuesday. The film continues to maintain a strong hold in the 4th week running.
हमने मोहब्बत करनी है, हमने मोहब्बत की है, इस दिल के अलावा किसी से भी ना हमने इजाजत ली है.
According to data from industry tracker Sacknil Technologies, the film clocked in 1.10 crores on its 4th Tuesday, pushing the total collection in India to 518 crores.
हमने हिफाजत की है.
Crushing several records. Since its release, Pathaan has gone ahead and earned 500 crores in 28 days. The SRK starrer record smasher film is on track to chase Bahubali 2's records now. The film is also the 5th Indian movie to have breached the 1,000 crore mark worldwide, without being released in China. Pathaan's explosive performance creates grounds for celebration as the king returned to starring roles after more than 4 years. Directed by Siddharth Anand, YRF's Spyverse film features Shah Rukh Khan, Deepika Padukone, John Abraham, Manish Wadhwa, Dimple Kapadia and Ashutosh Rana in pivotal roles. Bureau Report, India Today.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
You're on board the Newstrack. An India Today investigation has uncovered forensic scientists at some of the country's leading crime labs manipulating forensic reports in exchange for bribes. The probe reveals a disturbing pattern which could have far-reaching implications for the justice system. Watch the special investigation by Mohammad Hizbullah and Nitin Jain.
in search of the smoking gun. The use of science in the field of law. Forensic evidence, a critical component of criminal investigations and prosecution. But an India Today probe has found how corruption and greed might have left it vulnerable to distortions. Some scientists at some of the country's top crime labs are caught promising false reports if paid off. Following a tip, our undercover reporters visit the forensic science lab at Varanasi. Suresh Chandra heads this facility as its deputy director. Our journalists posing as agents of a fictitious murder suspect met him twice. Suresh Chandra offered to manipulate the forensic report in favor of the man we told him was accused of poisoning his victim. This FSL chief demanded 10 lakh rupees for cleaning up the poison from record books.
उसमें पॉइजन ना निकले, कुछ भी ना निकले।
ये कल देख करके ही हम चीज़ बता पाएंगे। हाँ, और उसका देखने सुनने का सारा फीस पड़ेगा, आप ही समझ लीजिए। हमको 10 जो है 10,000 रुपये चाहिए सब फिर से कंप्यूटर वगैरह हम देखने के लिए। नहीं, हम प्रोसेस थ्रू तभी करेंगे जब जो है वो जो रिक्वायर्ड फीस है वो दे देंगे।
अच्छा।
You heard the deputy director of Varanasi's forensic science lab demanding 10,000 upfront to start the dirty work. Our reporters meet Suresh Chandra again at a luxury hotel in Varanasi the next day. The top officials of the zone's main forensic lab offers to set up a special team to forge FSL findings of viscera samples.
नहीं, मैं चाह रहा था 1.5 कि इसमें जो है इसके लक्षण बहुत हैं पॉइजन के, उसके नेल और लिप में नीला। अच्छा सर, अब जो भी आपके सामने नहीं वो पॉइजन के लक्षण हैं तो ऐसे में तो बड़ा मुश्किल है, तो नौकरी अपने दांव पे लगाएंगे एक्सपर्ट।
सर क्या किया जाए, इसको क्या बताया?
उसमें टीम बना करना पड़ेगा।
अच्छा।
अभी हम 2-3 आदमी।
अच्छा।
2 या 3 एक्सपर्ट डालें।
अच्छा।
तब हो पाएगा।
ठीक है सर की
तो टीम का खर्चा बढ़ जाएगा।
ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं सर, क्या खर्चा आ जाएगा?
अब ज़्यादा मिले मुलाकात होगी नहीं, आपको बताइए एक्सपर्ट। हाँ। 3 लोगों में तो 10 खर्च होगा।
10 लाख। तो इसमें सर ऐसा तो नहीं ना कि बाद में किसी और लैब में जाएगा तो रिपोर्ट?
नहीं, एक बार जो लिख के टीम जो कर दिया, एक बार जो कर दिया 2 लोग 3 लोग साइन होंगे उसमें।
अच्छा।
टीम वर्क कभी चैलेंज नहीं होता।
अच्छा।
सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक स्टैंड करेगा।
पेमेंट का कंडीशन क्या होगा सर, कब?
नहीं तो हार्ड कैश चाहिए।
नहीं हार्ड कैश कब? ये कितने बार?
जब जमा करेंगे तभी शुरू होगा।
नहीं तो एक ही बार में सारा देना है या फिर उसमें
बार देना है? किस्तों नहीं देना, 1 सप्ताह चाहिए इसमें।
अच्छा, 1 सप्ताह
परीक्षण के लिए, तो परीक्षण के रिजल्ट के पहले चाहिए।
A viscera report favoring a murder suspect up for sale. Suresh Chandra also ready to help falsify a DNA report in connection with a rape case from the FSL headquarters in Lucknow.
एक DNA का भी केस लखनऊ का है मेरे पास, वो हो जाएगा?
हाँ, क्यों नहीं हो जाएगा?
रेप का मामला है,
हो जाएगा।
तो उसमें सर कितना अमाउंट अप्रॉक्स में कोट कर दूँ?
पहले तो उसको पकड़ लीजिए डिटेल लेकर के।
नहीं तो फिर भी उसको अंदाज़ा देना होगा ना।
अरे उसका इसका रेट लगभग बराबर है।
10 लाख रुपए देने का भी, तो उसमें कॉन्डोम भी शायद है।
उसको जो है आप पहले कैच कर लीजिए,
ठीक,
ताकि मतलब
वो कहीं और ना भागे,
अन्य पार्टी से ना मिले।
A rogue scientist on a responsible position at a forensic facility out to undermine public confidence in the country's crime labs. Contamination of evidence leading to possible miscarriage of justice. Stay tuned For more, a report by India Today's special investigation teams Mohammad Hezbollah and Nitin Jain.
This is where we wrap up the Newstrack tonight. For your time and your trust, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you at 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. Till then, from all of us here, goodbye, good night.
If we were being accommodative, who sent the Indian army to the LAC? Rahul Gandhi didn't send them. Narendra Modi sent them. The largest peacetime deployment in our history on the China border. And please notice, I said China, C-H-I-N-A.
External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar launches a stinking attack on the Congress.
I try not to be loud. I try to get my narrative across in an elegant and effective way, maybe at times sharper than people may want.
A day later, the Congress fires back, calling Jaishankar a failed foreign minister and tears into